welcome to the cooking show for kids of all ages. My name is Aunt Annie.
And I'm Grandma Jayne.
And we are, if you have hopefully been watching, we are in a breakfast segment for all of us that need to have a good, healthy, hearty breakfast, especially you kids at home that are home this summer and your caretakers or caregivers might be off to work and you might need, maybe sleeping in late, maybe need to make yourself some breakfast. And so we're giving you lots of options this week in our episodes. Now today, Grandma Jayne is going to take the lead completely on these. I've never made these, but I'm going to be watching intently like you kids at home. Again, later when we have a blog or a website or whatever, we'll be posting these recipes, kids. But, you know, we're just starting this show, and so we're taking one step at a time to see if the show's going to take off and before we take all those steps. So at any rate, because we don't want you to have to go and rewatch an episode, we were just talking before we aired. We don't want to have to go back and rewatch an episode to know how to make something. So at any rate, Jayne's going to make us Bran Muffins. Very healthy for us. So Jayne, I'm going to let you do your thing, and I'll just ask questions or throw some comments in from time to time.
Okay, this recipe that I have is a refrigerated all-bran muffins. You can keep them in your refrigerator for 6 weeks and make them every day if you want to. First of all, I'm going to put two cups of boiling water that I've already just boiled.
And how did you boil it, Jayne?
I boiled it in a little Pyrex measuring cup.
Again, it's a microwavable container. We like to put liquids when we're baking in clear bowls or clear glasses. Liquids are just easier to see where you're lining up with the line. Dried ingredients can be in things more like this. But liquids especially, I would suggest, and I think Jayne would too, glass type things. And you know what? We're so fortunate now to have microwaves, because in the old days, you either had to run your tap for quite a while, and it still might not have been as hot as you wanted the water to get, or you had to do it on the stove. And now we've got these microwaves. What a blessing!
Yeah,
what a blessing! Okay, go on and let's see what's going on now.
You just pour your boiling water over the 2 cups of all-bran oats. Yeah, that's buds.
All-bran buds. Now tell the kids how it used to be.
Let those soak. What used to be called 100% all-bran. They don't make it anymore. So now what substitutes for that is all-bran buds. Okay. And you just let those soak.
So you had 2 cups of boiling water?
2
cups of bran.
Yes.
Buds. All-bran buds.
Yep.
Okay.
And the next thing I do is I have shortening here. I have 1 cup of Crisco that I'm going to put in the bowl. And you cream this in. Which I need a fork.
I got a fork here.
I got it.
Okay.
That's good. You cream that in with the sugar, of course, as we did with the coffee cake. And this is 4 cups of sugar. Let me see. 3 cups of sugar. I knew that was
And so you already put 3 cups in this?
Yes, I already measured out everything ahead of time, so I'd be sure to have it measured correctly and not forget anything, because there's quite a few things in here.
And I tell you, these glass measuring cups that are larger, like we made the eggs in, what is so handy about them is the spout too, because sometimes we tend to pour more in than we mean to if we don't have a spout. So I suggest purchasing some of these too. Maybe if you ask for Christmas or your birthday or some occasion, or with your allowance, if you want to buy that, what do you call it, Jayne? That thing you love?
Oh, the bench scraper.
The bench scraper that you said is about $6.
Yeah.
That was this thing that's so handy.
$4 to $12, depending on what kind you want.
You might want to invest in some of these glass large measuring cups with a spout. And this one holds up to 4 cups and has the lines then on where to put things. And if you don't know about it, kids, not only do we have the English measurements that we use, metric is also on the other side of all these bowls and cups as well.
Okay, so I'll just finish creaming these in, and then the next thing we have to add are eggs, and they want them beaten. And there's 4 eggs, and I'm going to take and crack each one and beat it up and add it.
Do you want to go ahead and use this again?
Yeah, I can. Sure.
Would that work?
That will work.
As long as we've got all the dry sugar out of there anyway, she just as well put her eggs in there, because Jayne taught us that good trick about putting it in something like this. Then if there is some shell, she can get the shell out with the shell that she said was such a good tip. So she's gonna do one at a
I'm
time.
gonna be careful and doing one at a time. So if I should get a shell in, which I'm looking like I might the way I'm doing this, then I can get it out easy enough. And there it is. Nothing like telling you and then testing it.
I love that tip.
And just a little bit more.
Like
I
Julia
do.
Child would say, when in your own kitchen, who's to know? Who's to know?
You do a good Julia Child on that.
Well,
one.
Meryl Streep did a wonderful Julia Child.
Yeah.
So, of course, what doesn't Meryl Streep do well?
I know it.
She's just set the bar for all of us. And I was just telling Jayne off air too when I watched that Mr. Rogers movie from last year. Tom Hanks, once again, did a stellar performance in portraying Fred Rogers. He's just an excellent actor. We're lucky to have him around as well as a lot of other actors. That's just two we happen to mention today. We thank them for all the joy and entertainment and education they brought to us and their portrayals of characters. Can I put that in the sink for you now, or you think you're going to need it again?
No, I don't think I will. Everything else is good.
I'll try to pull my weight somehow here.
And then after we get these mixed in pretty good, we're going to add a quart of buttermilk.
Oh, wow.
Buttermilk makes so moist and everything. Very good.
There's a cake we're going to make down the road. I don't think it's my grandma's recipe, but it happens to be Dorothy's chocolate cake is this recipe. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, which means on my mom's side, my mom's mom, she used to make wonderful baked goods, and I don't think this is her recipe, but it just happens to be called Dorothy's chocolate cake, and it has a cup of buttermilk, and that it's just a fabulous cake, fabulous. And all cakes don't have buttermilk.
No, they just are moist and rich or something. Everything I put it in it. You can also.
I was going to say, Jayne, tell them your tip.
You can take a cheater and put like a cup of milk, and then put like 2 tablespoons of vinegar in it, and it curdles it just
I've heard that before, yeah.
Yeah, and it works. I've done it. I do it.
Because let's face it, kids, I would be willing to guess that 99% of households don't have buttermilk in their fridge just as a staple.
No.
Which means as a regular thing in the house. So that's why I was hoping, Jayne, if she didn't remember what she did, bless her heart, I was going to say, Jayne, tell them your trick, because if you think, oh, those Bran Muffins sound so good today, but oh, mom and dad or my foster parents are already at work, or my grandma and grandpa are already gone, how can I make those? I could make them for them and have them ready when they get home, but we don't have any buttermilk. Whatever kind of milk you use, it doesn't matter if it's whole all the way down to fat-free, right?
Right.
Put that couple tablespoons of vinegar in there, and it'll work just fine.
I do it every time for this one nut bread I make. It's just easier.
I wish I would have actually known that, because for those banana bread loaves I made the other day, I needed buttermilk and I just used regular milk, and I could have made my own.
Did they taste much different, maybe?
I haven't tried it yet. I'm not sure.
I love the tips I'm learning from not only Jayne, but from my niece Megan.
Before.
All the things I've learned from my sister and my brother and my... I wait till I tell you about the other side of our family too. It's just, everybody is just full of wonderful cooks. I've been surrounded. Not only family, but friends. I've just been surrounded. I'm so
lucky.
blessed.
Yeah,
I'm just blessed.
I do have some men in the family too that are good cooks. My nephew, Misaku, oh my gosh, he can do anything. Rotisserie chicken.
Oh, the men in my family are just as good, if not better, than a lot of the women in my family. My brother and my nephew, for sure, are just excellent.
And it's
well,
fun.
even my brother Mark too. He's a good cook. Now, I don't know if he cooks as much as his sisters, or our other 2 sisters, but he definitely can cook too. He's no slouch.
Now I'm adding the All Bran original cereal.
Okay,
And
now.
that is. How many cups
So we did the 2 cups of buds with the 2 cups of boiling water and mixed that up.
Yep.
And now you're putting in what?
4 cups of the All Bran
Original.
not
Now
the buds. Yeah.
Now we happen to use Kellogg's, but do other brands make this as well?
You know what? When I was at the grocery store, I didn't see any other.
Okay, because again, kids, we're not trying to tout any certain or try to get you to use any certain kinds of things. We're trying to be very fair in that regard. We're not even telling you a lot of times what brands we're using unless it's important. Sometimes it is important. I'm sorry, but we're just going to have to say we prefer this. If you don't, that's fine. We'll tell you what other alternatives or options are. But in this particular case, I thought you should know that Jayne had to find Kellogg's All Brand, and that's why I wanted to ask her if she had other choices. And this is what they look like. One is the buds, and one is the original. Okay, so that's what the boxes look like if you decide you want to make these soon or down the road. There's even some recipes on the back of the boxes too. There you go.
And now I'm starting to mix in the 5 cups of flour. So this does make a large bunch.
5 cups
Yeah.
of flour. Holy
It never
Toledo.
lasted in our refrigerator that long though, 6 weeks now.
Holy Toledo. That's
These are
a lot
great
of
for
flour.
popping in a muffin tin and having some in the morning though. And they're so good for you, healthy wise. Fiber, you know, lots. So this
And
is
what is fiber good for, Jayne?
for digestion and mainly keeping your whole system running good.
Yep. And not only that, I know sometimes it's funny, people don't like to talk about poop. But you know what? Everybody poops. In fact, there's a book out there, kids. I used to be a children's librarian for a year or two. There's a book called out there, Everybody Poops, because some people are so embarrassed to talk about it, but it's just part of our nature. It's just like plumbing in your house. Something goes in, it's got to come out. And so a lot of people that have trouble in that regard, trouble having bowel movements, which are important for us to stay healthy, they have to have a diet high in fiber. And like Jayne said, it's just good for your overall health and digestion, but look at even these boxes have on them that they're high in fiber. So that's a good thing, okay?
Good thing I got a big bowl out for this. It takes a big one to mix all this up.
I was gonna say, I hope we had even a big
Almost
enough.
almost there, and then after that we'll just put in a little salt and baking soda and then the oats, or the buds, that have been
buds,
soaking.
yep.
The buds that have been
You know, I hate to say this, but this kind of looks like Alpo.
soaked.
Dog food. Look
It
at kids.
does.
It's funny when she put that water in there. It's kind of like that moisten when they open a can of Alpo on TV and those ads from years ago. Have you seen an Alpo commercial for a long
No,
time?
I have not.
I don't know. Are they still in business? I assume they
I
are.
don't know.
But at any rate, look at how it kind of looks like something you'd give Fifi or
Yeah.
Fido.
On the
Whatever.
plane, one time, some gal said, "This looks like Alpo." It was a bistro bag. I thought, "Oh, I'm so
Oh,
embarrassed."
funny.
And I'm like, "Oh, human consumption, yuck."
In fact, Olivia, who was just here an episode or so ago, and she's going to be coming back for dinner, our first taper, first filmer before our niece Megan stepped on board.
Yeah.
She's moving, as we told you, in some episodes, and we just hate that, but at least it gives
Oh,
us
yeah.
another place to visit,
Yeah.
to go see her and her sister Amy. But she just came in between episodes, and so we could say goodbye to her 2 dogs.
Oh,
So that's what made me think of it when we-
saying bye to
When we talked about Alpo, they came to say goodbye to you and I.
Murphy.
Or I should say
Oh.
goodbye to you and me. That's the proper
Murphy
preposition.
wags his tail when he comes around the corner to my house.
And so these dogs are named Murphy, and then later they got another dog named Tug. And kid, that's what made me think of it when I saw this food. But they did come to say goodbye
Oh, I'm sorry.
to their Grandma
They
Jayne.
were just pulling out when I came forward.
Because Grandma Jayne used to babysit them.
Yep.
Dog sit them
Yeah, that's
sometimes
right.
when they had commitments somewhere else.
Yeah. I did. I love dogs. I wish I could have another one, but I have to be home all the time before I can. So that's all there is to it.
You've gotta be really good to your pets, kids.
Yes.
You really
definitely.
do. They're like people.
Yes.
They need to have routine feeding, routine exercise. They need love. They need attention. They need affection. Just like two-legged.
We do,
Just
yeah.
like two-legged mammals, these four-legged animals need the same thing.
Okay, now a teaspoon of salt and 5 teaspoons of soda,
And that would be
Oops.
baking soda.
baking soda.
Yeah. And baking soda and baking powder are both very common ingredients in things like this: cakes, muffins.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see
It's
that a lot.
harder to stir.
And baking powder and baking soda have different textures, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
You're going to know one from another. Baking powder has a different makeup than baking.
You can soak in baking soda in the tub, you know, and stuff.
Well, there's a lot of things you can do with baking soda.
Yeah.
A lot of people put it down their sink.
I brush my teeth with it a lot of times.
You can brush teeth with it.
Yeah.
A lot of people put it down their sink
Yes.
to try to get some
and
of
then
that,
put vinegar in it.
Yep.
It fuzzes up.
some of those odors out of
Yeah.
there.
Now, this is the soaked oats that I'm going to add next, and that is the last ingredient.
So the soaked all brand buds
Buds. Okay, buds. And that goes in now.
are elbow.
Yeah. AKA elbow. I already have the muffin tin greased, sprayed with a little Pam, a little butter Pam.
So again, could you use liners as well?
You could use liners as well, yes.
And when I say liners, kids, I don't know, you probably know because you've watched your caregivers bake or your grandparents or somebody bake as well. Again, liners like this, obviously you can put in there kind of like you would cupcakes. But Jayne has chosen just to put Pam or at
Yeah.
least grease the muffin or
tin.
cupcake
Yeah.
spots there.
Could you also make them mini?
Yeah. Sure, any
Yes.
size or those big monster ones too.
In fact, I'm taking
I like those little tea tassies or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. I have to show you a pecan
taking a
tassie.
risk doing this because I just got all this to fit. But here would be, for instance, kids, a pan with the smaller,
Mhm.
where you'd make either mini muffins or mini cupcakes.
And just
Okay,
pop them in your mouth.
just smaller.
They made cupcakes for my mom's birthday like that. They were popular. They just popped them in their mouth, didn't they?
Well, when you want a little dessert, but you don't want a whole bunch.
Exactly.
They're perfect to just like you say, pop. Not to mention, you might want to try if there's more than one flavor. Well, you don't want a big honking of one flavor and a big honking of another.
Right.
You can that way pop a vanilla in and later a chocolate or vice versa or whatever.
And we have increased the temperature of the oven to 400, and these only take about 15 minutes. And we're gonna pop these in the oven there. I think
Can
it's
you
on.
freeze these?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
After you've baked them, you can freeze them.
Yep. You
Because
bet.
you already mentioned you can put it in the fridge then and chill it and then
Yeah.
bake them as you go after you've made the
I
mixture.
don't know if you could freeze the batter. I've never tried that.
Yeah.
But yeah, once they're baked, I would think no problem. Freeze them and
Yeah.
those would be great to thaw out as you need to.
Yeah.
In fact, my mother, which we've referred to as Grandma Jayne before, she makes muffins regularly. Blueberry and banana nut or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I think blueberry's her most common because she likes to have that for her a light breakfast, maybe with some cottage cheese or some fruit. And she's become an excellent muffin maker. But
But,
she would love these too.
oh yeah.
Love them.
Have to have
But
some.
she freezes her muffins all the time. That way, in fact, you might even want to package them that way. You might want to put them where you've got 3 or 4 in a quart size Ziploc or something to put in the freezer. And then when you do pull it out, you know then, or you can just have maybe a couple one day and a couple the next, or for 4 days you've got your muffins out then if you have one a day. Yes, I think they freeze beautifully.
I only fill them about, try to like 3/4 full, because they're gonna raise.
Okay.
Maybe I've got them a little too full, but they go muffin tops.
Well, when you're in your own kitchen, who's to see?
That's right. Isn't that good? That's a good thing. So, and I think the batter tastes good too. I'll try to taste it. It tastes good. Something
And
about it.
I heard Janie mention already that, you know, our
Okay.
coffee cake and our casserole were both $3.50, and we now then have increased our heat to 400 for these. My hash brown casserole, sometimes I even make it $3.75, depending on how hot my oven gets. At the Elks, for instance, we had ovens for a while that just didn't burn hot. They just didn't, so we'd make sure we were at least $3.75. So again, because I'm going to put them in here in a little bit to have with our dinner tonight, I didn't want to overbake them. So I kept it at $3.50 rather than $3.75, and I probably took them out earlier than I normally would. They need a little more baking, but I'm going to put them in a little while longer here tonight when we cook. So how long do they have to be in there, Jane?
15 minutes. So
15
we're gonna
minutes.
Just, we're gonna go on to something else and pop them out.
You betcha. Just like other episodes, you know, we've got stuff in the oven, and we don't want to waste a lot of time because we're burning daylight, as they say in the
Yeah.
westerns. We're burning daylight. So what we've done is we're going to move on to our 2 things. And we need Janie's griddle for it.
Before you move on, how do you put that in the fridge? Would you just cover that bowl and
Just
put the bowl
A
in the
ceramic
fridge?
in the fridge. My mom always had a big jar too. She would put it in.
Oh, yeah.
Fit kind of back in the corner of the fridge.
Yeah.
Good.
That's a good question, Megan. I'm glad you
Yeah.
brought that up. In signing off today, Jane, what would you say to the kids today?
Oh boy, there's so many things you want to say to them, and just think about them and worry about them, don't you? But remember your relatives and be helpful to them. Your family, they're really important people to you.
Absolutely.
And I hope that leading into 4th of July, you can have some fun even with a lot of things canceled, you know.
Well, I'd say just for today, since it's wrapping up our breakfast segment, some people don't bother to have breakfast, but I'd say bother to have breakfast. Now today it looked like I was probably being kind of I guess practicing what I preach, shall I say, because I said I hadn't eaten yet today, but I wanted you kids to know that I hadn't eaten because I knew we were going to be making eggs. Otherwise I would have had some breakfast this morning, but I wanted to make that clear, that I would have had it, but I didn't want to have breakfast and then have all those eggs go to waste or not have them fresh. So until next time, we hope to see you on
Now You're Cooking. We love you.